Hi, Llama.
Llama is with us.
Llama is in the house.
Great, that's a great place to start. Hey, Llama.
What are the things you do before you go live?
I talk to the llama.
Some people say talk to the hand, but in this case, I'll have to get you one.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Joe, Dr. Energy Piazza.
Rara is in the house. Catherine Sarah Myers.
Welcome back to BU Network Podcast, Conversations Worth Having.
And you can see over there, that little red ball over there, we call that voodoo head thing. Because it's just like a shrunken head, furry head with eyes and a nose on it.
I had that when I went through my first divorce. I now call it voodoo doll and have little pins for it. Oh, that's not the same thing?
Not the same thing. Not quite.
I have a book that goes with it too. It's a big book with 800 pages. Is that the one you go through?
Does it come with its own set of pins too?
So yeah, we have some interesting books. Good collection.
Cool.
Tells a lot about people.
Yeah, it does.
Buying books and people that we do business with.
Yes. It's funny you mentioned that. I was just putting together some stuff for the Align adventure that I do with Dr. Tony and Grace and Carla and David. And so it came to me while I was putting these slides together and some stuff that I want to talk about at the introduction about how, the answers to life, like who are you being while you're doing what you're doing, right? Because everybody wants to do. They forget about the being part. So who are you being while you're doing? And it crossed my mind that that's sort of like the answer to life, the universe, and everything. And then, of course, my mind, when I hear life, the universe, and everything, goes right to The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And the answer to the meaning of life, the universe, and everything is 42. So I thought, I haven't thought of this before. Why don't I start just picking up books that I have in my space and randomly turning to page 42 in every book and see what message it has to share. And so I started doing that. I was like, oh crap.
What happened?
Oh crap. They were really relevant messages. In fact, one of them, we were talking about interesting books. I have a book, when I studied some anthropology when I was back in university, and it's called Magic, Witches, and Paganism, or something like that. Anyways, I opened it up to page 42, and it talks about being comfortable with the idea of death. And it's this whole thing that in our culture, in our society, we tend to be afraid of death. We try to push it away. We try to run away from it at all costs. But if you love life, you also have to love death, because it's part of the cycle. It's part of the rhythm. We change form from one place to the next. And so the more that we deny death, the more that we're denying part of ourselves, and the more that we're denying life. And so it was just interesting that I picked up that particular book, and it was talking about death, because I was talking about life and being while I'm doing, right? So I'm starting to okay, and I'm going to start picking up some other books and see what answers it has for me on page 42. So.
Well, I would like to do that. If you could, I'm going to get up from my chair. So if you could fix the screen to be only one person, or I'm going to turn my camera off.
Just turn your camera off, yeah.
Okay, let me go get a book.
It's always fun to see what comes up when you start doing these things. In fact, that was one book. I'm going to look into some other ones. I follow Robert Fulghum. All I Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten. He's got several books. One of my favorite books by him, I love the title, is called It Was on Fire When I Lay Down on It.
Oh, I like that.
It's actually not a great title. Maybe we'll have to make a video with that title.
I like that.
I think it's a great title. So,
well, I'm going to read a little bit from the book. I won't tell you the name of the book, and then so page 42.
Just find a passage that kind of catches your attention.
Yep. Encouragement requires empathy and seeing the world from your spouse's perspective. Perhaps your spouse has untapped potential in one or more areas of life.
The 5 love languages.
I have one more book in front of me. I may not tell
Okay.
you the title, but I'm going to go to page 42.
Okay.
This book was written in 1956 or something.
Mm.
I'm laughing because I don't know what.
Is it non-R rated?
It is. I'll read the passage and then I'll tell you the year it was written in.
I think I have an idea of what it might be.
Oh, you definitely have an idea. It was written in 1965.
Okay.
So page 42. Whatever you say, Renee said, getting to his feet. You're a better judge than I. And he rang.
I knew it was that one.
You said page 42, and these two books happen to be together on my shelf. I was doing some research, believe it or not, you got to do this for work, honey, right?
Of course.
I was doing some research and I thought to use those two books in order to sort of wrap my head around the content I would be delivering. And I just didn't think about what was on page 42 for both of them. So that's a really good exercise to grab a couple of random books and see. So what is the message? So this is message about untapped potential in love. I think that's fantastic message.
One of the things we talk about in network care, network spinal, is working with unbound energy, free energy, basically, in the system, and using that to liberate the bound energy in our body mind. The greatest source of unbound free energy, love. It transmutes everything.
Oh, chapter 11. Hang on. I'm coming back. All right.
Got
I even
something
know
else?
the chapter. Yep.
All right. Something else to surprise us with. This should be interesting. It's not page 42, though. It's chapter 11, although not that chapter 11 for our American friends.
So, yeah, not that chapter 11. So I did a whole presentation on this chapter, page 254.
Okay.
I will go to page 42, but because you just said that, the mystery of sex transmutation, the 10th step towards riches. So just to make sure you see, I'm reading from Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
That's one of my favorite books.
Just so you know, the complete classic text, like really awesome book. So I'll just read a passage. The meaning of the word transmute is, in simple language, the changing or transferring of one element or form of energy into another.
Perfect.
All right. Think and Grow Rich.
Page 42. What's page 42 there?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I said it. Okay. Page 42. I knew that he had given evidence of a trait of resourcefulness that would go with him all through life.
And resourcefulness is one of the best resources that you can have within you, is that idea of being resourceful. How can you problem solve? How can you look at a situation or an opportunity and use it to best advantage for you and everybody around you? So resourcefulness is just incredible. Yeah.
This brings me to, and thank you for that, when we're dealing with people in our life and as a business, as this particular business, BU Network, we engage with people and we hire people to work with us. And we were talking about...
I'm just going to pause you right there for a sec. Because people might be wondering what all of that we just talked about has to do with business. So we are now going to take what we just talked about and share with you what it has to do with business.
Yes, thank you. Perfect.
Just wanted to be clear about that.
That's really important because somebody can just pull in the
I'd
middle.
Be wondering, well, what the heck are they talking about?
I thought I was listening to BU Network about. So we employ people and they come to us and we develop these relationships with these individuals or businesses, and we find a way to work with them, and we find a way that I guess we can develop trust and they can develop trust with us. Because
Right.
often as business owners, we're thinking, how do I find a new client? Or how does that new client find me? Or who is my avatar? But I'd like to reverse that. We talked about this. We'd like to reverse this.
Mm,
To a business looking at us as a prospect.
right.
Let's take that positioning for a minute.
It's completely different, right? It all of a sudden it's okay. How do I like to be treated? How would I like a business or another person to sell me or connect with me, rather than always worrying, oh, is this person my avatar? Is that person my avatar? Should I say this? Should I say that? What if I say the wrong thing? But how do you like to be connected with?
I love when I go into a business and they remember us.
Mm,
They look us up. They want to lean in and go a little step further. They see me or you or us, and they want to know, well, how can I follow you?
yeah.
And they want to go into that digital world of ours, which is actually one step closer.
Yeah.
But they want to lean into where we are. I love being remembered. I love when a business remembers something about us and what we do, and they tell us that they've followed something that we have no clue that they were even paying attention to. And suddenly there they are quoting us for something
Back to
that
us.
I love that. That's that sort of silent
Yeah.
admirer, the secret admirer. I love
I've got a fun story actually about that. Just today, I was in my favorite coffee shop here in Ottawa, and I'll name drop them. It's Equator in Westboro, and several of the staff. I go there regularly, at least a couple times, 2-3 times a week, and some of the staff there call me by name, and they know one of my favorite drinks is a oat milk chai latte. And they know, and the ones that know my name also know that one of the things I like about the chai latte is an extra sprinkle of cinnamon, either on top of it or put it in the cup in the bottom first and then pour the latte in on top of it. And they know that some days I like just a regular oat milk chai latte, and some days I like a dirty oat milk chai latte. For those of you that don't know, the dirty means there's a shot of espresso in the chai latte. And so I was just in there today, and hey, Joe, how's it going? Yeah. And right away they picked up the cinnamon, sprinkling it in there, and I didn't even have to ask or remind. And it's just those little things that make me want to go back there and spend more money there.
Because it's true. Sometimes I hear this in businesses. Sometimes people want to pay less for the services of even our own clients, right?
Sure.
They want to know, how do I approach that? But what I would love to invite people to think about is pay people more. The people that serve us really well.
Right.
I like buying them a gift. I like giving them a tip.
Exactly.
A tip. Giving them something. When you go to a restaurant, there's a 20% tip recommended. You don't go to a restaurant, pay for your services, say thank you. You go to a restaurant, you pay for your services, and you say thank you, and.
Right.
So I like doing that because then you get remembered for that.
Exactly.
And I think that's another way of creating your welcome into a place. You don't spend $50 on a coffee, but you're regular and you go and you patron that business.
Yeah. And having said that, you go 3 times a week and dirty oat milk chai latte and a chocolate chip cookie together with tip is just about $12.50. So 3 times a week, it's it's almost $40 a week I'm spending there. And one of the fun parts is sometimes, because I also buy my coffee beans from there quite often, and they, even before I can go in to add a tip, they will actually set the process past the tip. They won't let me tip them on the beans because they're not grinding them for me.
Right.
And I was like, hey, I was going to give you, no, it's okay. You're just buying the beans. There's no service involved. And I'm like, okay, that's very thoughtful of them.
Well, this reminds me of a subscription. So here's what I was going to say when you were talking about that. You go in, it's $12. You go in 3 times a week.
Right.
It's $36. You give a tip, you don't. You buy something else, it's $50. It's not a big ticket price, but it's a regular, consistent price.
Right.
Equal to a subscription. I subscribe to different businesses. So do you. We subscribe to all these services that allow us to get up running, hit a button and
Mm.
have everything in place, all the behind the scenes things. So when we become a subscribing member to a business,
Right.
whether it's through an automatic debit on a credit card or the fact that we walk in and do it on our own, we are very well received.
Yes.
I like to ask a business, how do I sign up? I usually say, what do I do to stay in your loop, in your newsletter? And they're so happy to tell me.
Right.
Sometimes people are afraid to do that because they think you're going to sell me. And I think, sell me, because
Sure.
I don't have to go somewhere else for it. I'd
Right.
rather buy as much as I can from the expert in front of me
Right.
than running around looking for someone else who claims. So I'd rather bring all my business, which will lead back to, right into what I'm saying. I'd rather bring all my business to the expert that has that service. Why do
Right.
people go to Macy's? Because Macy's has a lot of everything.
Right.
So I think it's important. Drinking on the job. That's
It's
what I
okay.
love.
You got to stay well hydrated.
Thank you so much. I think it's important for us to recognize that businesses offer more. Thank you. They offer more than they may tell us. And for us to be a good customer of theirs, we can invite them to share more. So
Right.
if a customer comes to us and asks us, tell me more and what else, then we're happy. So I like to do that with other businesses.
Right. It's that being invited, being asked to share, saying, hey, what do you have to offer? And this is something that you and I like to do when we go to networking meetings, is ask somebody else, hey, what have you got to offer? We don't even talk about what we do many
Mhm.
times.
Mhm.
And that's so different. Some of the network meetings you go to, everybody's like rushing to tell everybody what they do, and they're trying to meet spend 30 seconds with every single one of the 25 people in the meeting. Here's my business card. I do this and blah, blah. You need this, blah, blah. Or they're sitting there commenting on what everybody else is saying, oh, they need my services. Oh, you could use my services. Like, no, just share with me something about what you do. What lights you up in your business? What helps you serve your customers better or your clients better? Tell me that story. I'd love to hear that. And it gives me then the opportunity to ask you a more insightful or deeper question that's relevant to me about what your business is or does or can provide to me. Rather than you're just going bleh, all over me. I don't want that, because then I got to go clean myself up. And I'm even less likely to ever do business with you.
I remember 12 years ago, I went into a networking meeting with Alex, and he needed a coach at that time. He was looking for a hockey coach, a new hockey coach.
I remember this, yeah.
We went into like 200 people. It was a LaTip meeting, 250, a big meeting. Yeah. And when it came time to talk about what he did, he said, I'm not going to talk about myself. I'm going to talk about the hockey coach I'm looking for. And 250 people in a networking meeting, all looking to sell something. He just went in and said, this is what I'm looking for. And it happened right there on the spot. And it threw a lot of people off because they wanted to say how fantastic their XYZ was. So when we go to a business, what I really like is to be remembered. And I like when that business knows how to adapt and adjust to my tone, because they may be a high energy gym and I walk in, and if they can't read me, I'm probably not going to take the next step.
Right.
So when I go to my yoga studio and they remember all kinds of things, aside from seeing me every single day, they remember things about me. I remember that you wanted this or you like this. I really feel special. Right. Even though they might have a note on their desk with that, it doesn't matter. The fact that Lost and Found Yoga takes the time to I'll drop the name. They take the time to remember. I won't even go into how Verity treats us. It's like you're a queen, you're a king, you're a diva, you're a goddess. You walk in, they remember absolutely everything that you could possibly want. Why would we keep going back? Why wouldn't we? Because as a customer, as a client of that business, they make it their primary goal to allow you to feel relaxed and take away the stress.
And that's just a good business practice, knowing your clients, knowing something about them personal. It makes people feel important, And we all want that. We all have a need for significance in our life. We all do. No matter who you are, we want to feel important. We want to feel significant, that we matter to somebody, anybody. We can say, oh, no. And then what does most people do when they're complimented? Oh, no. Right? Just say, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Because as soon as you start to say, oh, no, you're now refusing the gift that somebody else has just given you.
So true.
And that doesn't allow them to share their gift. And now you've made that person feel insignificant, like they're not important. So oftentimes we need to give the gift of just receiving. So even receiving is an act of giving.
I love that. And I would invite our audience, our friends, our colleagues, our clients and members to think about a call to action. Anything that we're saying here today resonates with you. Like, okay, well, that's great information. Super. What
How do
will
I
you
action
do?
that? Yeah, what are you going to do with it?
What would you go to a business and thank them, appreciate them for what they do?
Right.
So if you decide to take an actionable step or create one, be memorable. Go somewhere and do something. Consider this as an option. I'm not saying do it, but be considered a good client. What do you want to do to have someone remember you? Go in every day. Remember when we first were talking about going to Salt Lake City and stuff? Create some habits. Go to a coffee shop and sit there and open up your computer and open up your laptop and just be there for half an hour every day so that you could sort of get the vibe and just do things that are simple yet rememberable. People can remember that you're the person that comes in every day at 8 or 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock and sits there and has a coffee, opens their mail or puts their whatever it is that you do. Those are things that businesses appreciate because they're consistent and regular. And I think that's a lot better than erratic and sporadic.
Exactly. And that is a big part of in your calls to action, in your networking, is being consistent. We've talked about this before, how when you do things in a consistent manner, people know how to interact with you. They know how to get a hold of you. They know where to look for the information from you. So it's almost like that being consistent like that is training people to be ready and open and receptive to your content in this case. And it's also teaching them how you want to be treated, or how you're open to. So if you don't like getting all those emails from people, newsletters, updates, notifications of sales, you can't then go and send all those emails to somebody else because there's an incongruency there. And on some level, other people will pick up on that incongruency. And there's like, no, I don't want any of that from that person. So be consistent. If you want to send those types of emails and have that kind of connection with your clients, you need to also be receptive to that type of information, those types of invitations, and that type of content. And if you want to create a separate email or a folder that you use for all of that information, that's fine. Do it. I have couple different emails that I use for specific subscriptions, and in order for a person to get from one email list to another, it takes an incredibly extraordinary level of service and information value for me to move them over to the other one. So I do manage my subscriptions and who I subscribe to and where they go, because I also want to be able to share my stuff with people, or our stuff with people.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I just heard something from Jordan Adler, and I thought this was awesome on his Instagram account. So I would recommend sending a card, as you would too. He said, go out and get 20 customers. That doesn't matter what business you're in, right?
Right.
Go out and get 20 customers, attract 20 customers, serve 20 customers, and then revisit what situation you have in your business. So if you currently have 1 or 2 or 4 or 5 or 100, go out and get 20 new customers and then take a look at it. Because as we're looking at serving,
Mhm.
for us to serve another business, if we're one of 20, right? Because it's great to get one new customer.
Sure.
But if we're one of 20, we could be part of a trend. So recently I went into a customer appreciation day at a local business
Mhm.
where we go to since 2014. And not only were we received and greeted with the customer appreciation offer,
Mm.
special attention. The owners spent time with us. They gave us a very interesting gift. They gave us a gift to go into the wildflower fields
Mm.
and choose a bouquet of our choice, unlimited. Now you're
Wow.
like, what was that? Well, let me tell you what that gift was for us. We walked in because of a customer appreciation to go and congratulate them.
Right.
And as we're going to congratulate them to purchase, they go and give us something we never expected. And we
Right.
had a a matinee date in the field of wildflowers, choosing this big bouquet. And it led to, what color do you like? What color do you like? Why do you like that? Does that flower? It led to a conversation that
Mm.
we had absolutely no intention of having. So by being a good customer, here's what we got. We got to show and demonstrate that we are present, to be present,
Right.
and to be, as you were talking about. And in return, they couldn't just accept that. Their nature was to give back even more.
Right.
So sometimes when a customer comes to you and you say, gee, thank you, bye. How great do you think we felt when we got to spend the day in those fields? And we walked up and down the day. We spent quite a while.
Oh,
And then
sure.
they wouldn't take anything from us for that. So you can give and you can receive, and someone can give to you yet again. And the gift is something that you will remember. The story I have from that day, right, goes around and it comes around, the infinity. So if you can give somebody something other than a thank you and a receipt, and truly find a way to find out, do they need a hockey coach? Do they want a new coffee in their life? Do they feel like having a vegan brownie or a muffin at that moment? And you show up with that, and that just does what they need at the moment.
Yeah.
It gives them what fills them, for them to be who they are, so that they can be them while you're being you. And you probably have a winning formula there.
Right.
So I invite you to go out, be you, and be something and someone to someone when they least expect it, because they may blow you away and come back and be even bigger than you expected. That's what happened to us.
Yeah. I think that's a great thought to finish on. And let's just sum up, quickly what we talked about. The one is about treating, like, how you want to be treated, how you want to be sold, is you should be treating others the same way. And 2, be consistent. Because if you can be consistent, we know how to work with you, and you will know how to work with others. So those would be the 2 big things. And then the third point would be over deliver on value. When you over deliver on value, people will come back to you. You won't have to ask them to come back. They're going to remember, oh my God, I got such amazing service there. I got so much from that interaction, from that one appointment, from that one time in the store, and they gave me so much. I'm going to go back there again because I want to have that experience again.
And you know what, Dr. Energy? When somebody's really happy, they bring their friends.
It's not who you know. It's who you know that knows others.
I love
You know how that works.
Yes. I like that. I like that image. Thank you. We're so lucky to be here together. We're so lucky that we have our audience and our friends and clients with us. So we'll come back, tune back in, hang out with us, and stick around, because there's a lot more coming out.
All right. We'll see everybody soon.
Thank you for joining us. Sharing is caring. Tell your friends about conversations worth having on BU Network. We really appreciate your reviews, and you can do that on Apple Podcasts. Thank you.
For show notes and links, go to www.b-u.network/podcasts. Connect with us via our website, www.b-u.network.
We're looking forward to hearing from you, and thank you for being with us. Ciao!
Ciao, babies.